I've always taught as a leader, when your past and your pain and your passion overlap, you find the sweet spot of your purpose in life. I grew up in a small farm town on the eastern side of Arkansas. My dad worked with an oil and gas company. One day he left and never came back. While all of this was going on with my father, I was sexually abused by an uncle. It went on for 8 years of my life, but the abuse of one man and the abandonment by another really messed me up. The moment I came to Christ, the last thing I thought about was being used by God in a small town. I couldn't wait to get out of a small town. So I left home and never intended to look back. When God really turned my heart home, God really caused me to begin to sense a burden. In the same way a missionary would have a burden to a land, I felt this burden to my tribe, my people, the rural people. For 3 years now, we've been taking cohorts. It's just an idea I had in the airport. I'm just gonna put on Facebook. I don't really know what I'm doing, but God's called me to serve you. If you can get to Dallas, we'll pay for everything. I was overwhelmed. It shut down our email servers because there were so many rural leaders who wanted help. I don't have the resources or the capacity to let everybody in. And it was in that moment, I was like, there's gotta be a way to do more. I've always dreamed of a ranch that we would use to serve these rural pastors. Their networks are small. They fall off of the planet and nobody knows they left. But there needs to be a place for these guys who have no other options to go to refresh, renew, instead of just burning out and falling off the grid. I started preaching youth camps when I was 19, so I had this radical conversion. Doors started opening up to preach youth camps. I would usually share my story one night of God healing me of this hell of sexual abuse. I said, God, I gotta do more. I mean, it's not even really fair to make these kids walk into this service tonight, have never told anybody about this, bring them to the altar because they heard somebody they identify with. It was in those moments God gave me a vision to have a camp for sexually abused and neglected kids. This summer we will have our 5th year of camp for abused and neglected kids. The life change that we have seen in this camp is literally beyond description. But there's this something on the inside of me that we can do more. And the idea of using a ranch environment and combine those two worlds of prayer, clinical counseling, and the outdoors to gain access into a kid's heart. We became aware of this piece of property 3 days after it went onto the market, and it is called Lonesome Ranch. And it's as if God had them design it and set it up for what would suit the vision that was placed in our heart. And after a lot of prayer and some really supernatural moments, we're convinced the time is now. This is it. And so I really believe this ranch can serve both rural pastors in need and can serve these abused and neglected children in need. I can continue the rural cohort training just to equip pastors, and using a ranch environment so that a kid opens up to receive the transformation the gospel can make in their life. They were willing to pull the ranch off the market for a period of time to allow me to create an opportunity for funding to help purchase the ranch. And I was delaying because when I signed the papers, I have a 90-day window to raise the funding or I lose my option to buy the ranch. And so we're at a point of needing about $1.2 million. I have people standing with us believing that's going to come in cash. But I have a lender that if we can raise the 20% down, which is about $280,000, and commitments that will cover the mortgage for 2 years, that they will stand with us and loan us the money. I believe that this 90-day window that we're in could create a miracle because I know the capacity of what's going to happen when this ranch is acquired. My past, my pain, and my passion, the overlapping components of those three circles are a place like this ranch serving these two publics.